Hello, I'm Scott Bogey here with Luis Gurule ahead of his fight against Jacob Silva at Fury 96. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. And how has the training camp been for the fight?
It's been great. Not at Factory X anymore. Moved to a different gym over here, working out of the UFC Lone Tree with Brandon Royval, Alex Hernandez, and doing really well. Doing some small group stuff over there. So just feel like I've really gotten a lot better this training camp and just all aspects of my game. So I'm excited to go out there and show it all out.
And you have just been promoted to the main event. Does that add any more pressure onto you?
No, I don't think it adds any pressure at all. I feel like if anything, it's an advantage to me. I get two more rounds to, beat this guy and finish him. So I'm excited for it. I've never been in a 5 round fight. I don't think it's going to go 5 rounds, but even if it is, my training, my cardio, I think it just leads up to me being ready for anything out there.
Exactly. And not only is it the main event, you do get some chance to add some silverware with the flyweight title being on the line. How did it feel to be able to have that chance to be able to get that first title?
So that's what I thought at first as well. But on Tapology, anything as 5 rounds gets uh shows up as a title fight. So unfortunately, it's not for the title, but hopefully, if I win this next one, I can either fight Paris for the title or get short nosed to the UFC.
Exactly. And you definitely do have the credentials to be in the UFC. You are 8 and 0. A victory would make you 9 and 0. Do you feel like you are ready now for that next step?
Yeah, I think I'm ready now. I think, I've been ready for a while to be go up to that next step. I mean, train with Royval every day, training with Alex Hernandez every day. I've trained with UFC level fighters since I've begun fighting. And now I finally feel like my skills are up to par. I'm ready for the UFC and I'm ready to jump in for that next step.
And had there been any talks surrounding a UFC call up?
Yeah, I've actually got a couple opportunities that were close. Unfortunately, due to factors outside of my control, it didn't fall through. Whether the guy got sick or hurt, whatever. Um, but just being in a place to I'm able to say yes to any of these short notice opportunities is a big win in my book. It means my weight's dialed in, my cardio is always ready, my training's always ready. I just want to be ready for any of these opportunities and just, ready when the opportunity comes that I'm able to say, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it does show that you are at that stage where they are looking at you for that call up, and hopefully you are able to get a longer training camp next time they do call you.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's just like validates all that hard work and validates all that time spent in the training and being ready and constantly, just dieting and leading that healthy lifestyle and doing all the right things. And, eventually it's going to pay off and hopefully it pays off this year, especially after I go out there and I finish Jacob Silva. It's going to look great for me. I finish off this tough veteran and I'm able to show that I'm ready for that next step.
And do you feel like that's the main thing that Jacob brings to this fight is the fact he has had 21 fights under his belt? It does give you that experienced fighter.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's like a huge advantage on his part. You can tell in the way he fights, he's always calm, always composed. Nothing looks like it ever surprises him. So it's going to be exciting to go out there with someone who at that level, but he's also never fought anybody like me who's going to get just constantly be pressuring him and just doesn't care about what he throws or what he's doing.
And last time out, you were able to get the decision victory against Alberto
Mhm.
Truro. Was there any? How did that fight go in your book?
Yeah, that was a tough fight. Definitely one of my toughest opponents yet. He went out. He had a great game plan. He came out there, fought completely different from how had fought in previous fights. He's doing a good job of skating on the outside, darting in, being real evasive. And yeah, it was close up until the third, and I was finally able to get my jabs going. Finally got a couple of takedowns and started imposing my will on him. Started figuring him out. Um, so just having that experience under my belt gives me a lot of confidence because even when these fights are close or maybe we need that finish, I can go out there and I can seal the deal. I can react. My coaches, they helped so much and just making the necessary changes and adapting to those fights. So I got full faith in my skills and my training and my coaches. So I'm excited for that.
And what do you feel like has been the biggest improvement in your game since our last fight?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest improvements I've made is tying in that wrestling background that I have with my striking. You know, a lot of these previous fights, I get so excited to, go out there and swing and bang, and I'm like trying to finish them and be exciting. And then after, I'm like, man, I could have probably just shot and like tired him out and probably set up my hands a little better. I just forget I have so much fun out there. It's just, going to war. And but now I'm being a little more tactical. It's going to be a tactical warfare for this fight. So I want to use all the weapons that I have to the fullest of my abilities. So I think that's going to be the biggest change in seeing a well-rounded MMA fighter.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is your fifth fight for Fury FC. How have they treated you so far?
Yeah, I love them. They treated me great. Fury always puts on a great show, great production. Everything's very professional. And, as you can see, it's like, those top guys in Fury, they're getting called up to the
Yeah,
UFC constantly or getting called up to Contender Series constantly. So I feel like I'm in a great place with the organization, and I have full faith that me being there and me showing that I can constantly be the best guy on the top of that 125 pile it's going to shoot me to the UFC this year.
exactly. And I think it was either last week or the week before that, Fury FC posted on their Twitter that they did have, like, I think it was 10 athletes going from their ranks to the Contender Series this year. Does that
Mhm.
just prove that Fury is one of those feeder organizations to the UFC?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at just all the track records, almost every UFC event, they'll put a post on saying previous Fury fighters, and they always have so many, and there's so much talent that goes through there. Eric puts on, a great show, and he really is able to pull up the top talent from around the U.S. And so I feel like if you can prove that you're the best at Fury, you're going to be ready for the UFC.
And do you feel like another benefit of fighting for Fury is the fact that they are associated with the UFC Fight Pass? You do just get that little bit extra exposure.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's so nice having somewhere where everyone who knows your name can watch you, or even if they don't know your name, they're able to just turn on UFC Fight Pass and see you fight to like, you bring so many eyes to you. And like I've gotten so many followers and stuff from UFC Fight Pass, so it's awesome. Just having a place where everyone can see the fight is great.
Exactly. And what was it that got you into the fight game?
I actually started doing jiu-jitsu over at Factory X, and I had that itch to compete after wrestling. I was working as a geologist. I trained over there, every once and so often. I started getting pretty good at it, and I started beating the fighters, started, doing pretty well. And they're like, "Man, you should quit. You should start fighting." And I was like, "No, you guys are stupid. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna quit my career for that." But then I started doing really good, and I was like, "All right, well, maybe you guys aren't so stupid." So I told myself, I'll give myself 3 or 4 years. I'll see if I'm good at it. If I'm not, then whatever. I tried it. I don't have any regrets. But then I started doing it and ended up doing pretty well. So yeah, I hit the ground running, saved up some money, and just I never looked back since. I love this sport.
So are you currently being able to train full time?
Yeah, yeah, I've trained pretty much full time. And especially since leaving Factory X, it's kind of nice being able to go train at all these other gyms in Colorado too. So, I'll have multiple training sessions a day where, I was at Corey Sandhagen's gym. I was able to train with him. And then my next session, I was able to go train with Royval and Hernandez. Um, so, it's great just being able to travel to all these different gyms and see all these different fighters in Colorado. It's like such a big MMA scene here. So, yeah, it's awesome. I've been able to train so much for this fight camp, and I feel like I've gotten so much better because of it.
And do you feel like that gives you the advantage over your other fighters in Fury because they're having to balance that full time job as well as train?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's hard, and it's the name of the game. You got to figure out, how to support yourself or your family, while still trying to make it an effort to train full time, and it's not easy, but if you can figure it out and you can, even if you, work part time, like I'll work part time at a restaurant, and still just, figure out how to give myself enough time and enough time to recover and train and, still spend time with your family or your wife But if you can figure out the balance, which I feel like I figured it out pretty well this camp, um, it's night and day difference.
And currently, so far, what has been your trickiest fight so far?
Trickiest fight, I think probably would be that Alberto Trujillo fight. That was one of the closest one. He's totally switched up his game plan from what we were planning on, and so we had to make a lot of adjustments that fight. And we really had to concentrate on using our feints and our jab to establish our control and try to and get back into that pressure heavy style that I'm known for. Um, but just having that fight under my belt is like I feel so confident in being able to make those adjustments on the fly for any other tough fights that I'll have.
And as long as you do get the come out of this fight with no injuries and get the victory, when are you looking to get back into the cage? Are you looking to get back before the end of the year, or are you going to take some time out, see if that UFC contract comes to you, and then work out from there?
No, I think I want to for sure just keep feeding me. Just keep giving me fights. I'll keep finishing these guys. I want to become undeniable. I want to prove that, I'm the best 125er outside of the UFC. And so just keep feeding me these 125. I'll keep finishing them and I'll prove that I'm in the U, that I should be in the UFC. And then hopefully, we get in by the end of the year, but I want to fight as much as possible before the end of the year.
And is there anyone so far in the UFC that you are wanting to get your hands on?
Yeah, I'd love to fight Chirez or Joshua Van. I think those are both be like really fun matchups. I know they're gonna fight this weekend. Um, but honestly, like I'd fight anybody, I want anybody at any time. Like I'm itching for it. I think I'm good enough to be at the top of the heap in the UFC, not just, one of these regional guys who's like
Yeah.
pretty good and then they fall off when they get to the UFC. It's like I have full faith in my team and my training and my capabilities that I have no doubt it's like I'm gonna be top 15 very quickly, and then you're gonna see my name at the top of the rankings for a while.
And how much do you value the tape study in the sport?
What was that?
How much do you value tape study?
Oh, tape study. I personally, I don't like doing a lot. I kind of let my coaches do it. I think tape study is invaluable, but I also think it's a good way to kind of just psych yourself out before your fight. So I let my coaches handle the tape study, and they'll tell me what we're working on. They're like, all right, we want you to, work on this striking, work on this wrestling, work on this jujitsu, and then they'll give me the game plan. I'm like, okay, that way it's easy. I don't have to
Yeah.
stress myself out, and all it is, it just feels like I'm getting better. So like, I don't have to stress myself out, put any other extra pressure on myself. That's what I have my coaches for. They kind of handle that, and then my job is to just get better. And then when it's time to fight, just go out there and perform, and do as best I can.
And do you ever get any nerves going and walking down into the cage?
Yeah, it's the funniest thing. I get so nervous. I get like my first fight, my hands were shaking when they were wrapping my hands, and like I thought mentally I was pretty good, but I was watching my coach wrap my hands, and my hands were just would not stop. And he was being nice. He didn't say anything about it, but I mean, it gets better. It's not even that I have like fear about the fight. I love fighting. I think it's the funnest thing in the world. I think it's just like so much excitement and so much nerves.
Yeah,
It's like, you're like a racehorse. It's just like, all right, just open the gate. Let me go.
exactly. And you have been able to go out there, put on great performances, and get the victory. Thank you for coming on today. Uh, I'll give you the final word. Is there anything else you're wanting to add, or anyone else you're wanting to shout out?
And just tune in on next Sunday, September 22nd. Please watch the fight. It's going to be great. You're going to see blood, pressure. It's going to be fucking awesome. I'm going to prove once again why I'm the best 125er outside the UFC and why I belong there.
Exactly. Can't wait to watch that fight.